Hey Lan, hi folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I'm using pronouns. It is past midnight and I'm still making content because why not? Um, yeah, this video I'm just looking over there because I'm just thinking. This video I wanted to talk about discomfort and how growth in ourselves requires discomfort and doing things we don't like. And I think I've made a video about this before last year or the year before. I don't remember, but it's been a while since I revisited this topic and I wanted to talk about it with my sort of updated life experiences. For those of you who do not know, I am autistic and I was diagnosed 3 months ago. 3, 4 months ago. By the time this video is up, it's probably gonna be 4 months. 4 months ago, with autism, and it is undoubtedly a very new world for me to navigate. It's like I've been through the mental health journey, like with severe depression, anxiety. I went through the medical journey with my autoimmune condition, and then IBS. I've been through the trans journey and navigated that, and now it's a new journey with autism and navigating the very neurotypical world that society is built upon. Neurotypical, built by neurotypical people for neurotypical people. And I recently started seeing a psychologist specifically for autism support because I need to isolate this area and focus on it intensely because I feel pretty good about the other aspects of life. I still get support for it, but right now the most pressing thing for me is the autism stuff. Because one, I don't fully understand it yet, and there's a lot more I would like to learn about what it means for me and what it looks like for me and how it manifests and how it impacts my daily functioning. And secondly, there's a lot of challenges I experience, and I am working on that so I can function better and do more things in life. So historically, it's not been easy for me to be like, I need help. Like even saying like going to someone be like, I need help with this. Can you like help me? It's not easy because the way I've learned to survive in this world is a lot of self-reliance and independence and being able to trust myself only to get through things because other people hurt me and whatnot, and there's trust issues and whatnot. So very self-reliant, very like ridiculously stubborn, and I don't always know what's good for me, and I will just keep pushing through because I'm too stubborn to quit, even when it's the thing I'm doing is hurting me more than helping me. But I will just keep pushing through anyway because I don't know what's good for me sometimes. Because I don't, it's like I haven't learned how to, I haven't even learned how, I know how to learn, I know how to use the brakes for a car, but I don't know how to use the brakes on myself. That's the best analogy I can give you. I know how to use the brakes for a car, but I don't know how to use the brakes on myself. It's either I'm parked or I go at 100 k's an hour and there is no in between. That's how it works for me. That's how I survived in this world. It's like if I can't do something properly, then I won't start. And once I start, I I go at it. I go at it intensely. And there is no in between. By the way, this was one of the issues I told my therapist, and it's something I told him I want to work on because I want to build a middle ground where I don't have to keep being at 0 or 100. I want to build a middle ground where it's more balanced and reasonable. And it's something that's really hard for me because of the way, again, the way I've been conditioned and the way I've lived my entire life and still am continuing to live my life until the cycle is broken and a new cycle is built. And something the therapist said that really hit me and that sort of prompted me making this video is I'm scared to basically live life a different way because I don't know the outcomes. I don't know how it works. Like, he didn't say all this, but this is what I got from it is I'm scared to change the way I live my life because I of conditioning. I'm not used to it. I don't know the outcomes for it. I don't know whether I can control it. I don't know. There's basically a lot of uncertainty about changing my operating system because I'm so used to this for 25 years ongoing, and changing my entire operating system where I don't go at this 0 or 100 thing is really scary. It's really scary because that's how I survived life up until this point. And if I change the way things, I'm like, can I achieve this? It's like, can I achieve the same outcomes by changing the way how I operate? Can I still achieve things? Can I still do the things I want by changing my operating system? There's a lot of uncertainty. And the other ASD things is like the sensory overload stuff. Like, I'm still understanding what really overstimulates me, which is hyper arousal, and things that really drain me and cause hyper arousal, where it drains me so much that I sort of go into not really functioning well mode and just getting by, and I just withdraw and basically yeet and exit the situation and run. Or I'm just way too my nervous system is way too hyperactive, and I just go in the other end of the extreme. Still figuring out what sets me off, what I find rejuvenating, things that really drain my energy. It could be literally be something that, such as being in a mall for too long when I don't feel like being in closed spaces, because shopping centers and shops are all closed environments, as in they're bound by walls. And say if I go outside to a park, it's not bound by walls. And something else is lighting. I hate the overly flashy, annoying things at shopping centers where shops have the flashy light boards outside, and there's like 20 shops in a row, and they just all have these flashy light boards and like these screens that advertise things. It's just that takes so much of my like mental sensory energy. Like, it depletes my sensory tolerance bar so much. Just being in that environment, it's too much lights and too much unnecessary input to my brain. Things like that. And this is what I mean by it's not very friendly for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of neurodivergent people. It's not very friendly, it's not very accessible, it's ridiculous. The other element of ASD that I find challenging sometimes is communicating with people, because I require very direct communication in order to understand what the other person's saying. I think I mentioned this in a video before. If someone explains things in a very roundabout way and circles around things and doesn't get to the point, I will not understand what they're trying to say. And that will also drain my energy, being like, just get to the point already. Like, just say it directly, because I like I am very honest. I communicate very honestly and directly, and I'm an awful liar. Like, I cannot lie. Even white lies will give me so much guilt. I cannot do it. Like, it's either it's like my avoidance strategy is to not say anything at all or deflect. Otherwise, I don't like, I cannot tell lies. Like, or things that are semi from the truth either. It's just really hard for me. What was I saying? Yes, direct communication. And people not, and when people talk way too fast, I can't process what they're saying and I don't know how to respond. Group situations where it's like bang, 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 and it's just way too much info and I can't process this in time. I've also noticed in video games, I get stuck sometimes on the most seemingly simplest things because I take things way too literally and I sort of missed, I don't, actually I was about to say overcomplicated, but I don't. Maybe in my mind, it's very overcomplicated because I take it literally. I overanalyze things, pay attention to every single detail that I don't need to, while the solution is literally so simple. And I just take, so example, one game I was playing is like I shoot the board. This object thing was blocking my way. And I shot it from the front, which broke half of it. And they say shoot the other side of it. I don't know if it's a plate thing that just, basically they said shoot the other side of that object. And then there were like many objects around that were like similar to that. It was like a metal sheet thing. And there was like other metal sheet things in the environment. I was shooting all the other metal sheet things and I'm like, why is it not working? And then I'm like, oh, it's the other side of the same metal sheet that I shot originally, not a different metal piece that links with that metal piece. And then it took me like 20 minutes to figure out. And I'm just like, that's just how my brain works. That's why I'm just like, I need like, there's something so obvious like that, if someone was with me, they would just like shoot the other side of the damn thing. It's the same thing, just shoot the other side of it. Yeah, that's these is things, these are things that I find hard in navigating this world. Yes, I went off a tangent. I realized I went off tangent and just gave a lot of detail to the challenges I was experiencing, which may be helpful for other people who are autistic or just good to know info. I just went on a tangent. I'm sorry. I realized I went on a tangent. Yes, the point of me saying that is yes, I'm getting help for this, and it, it's easier now for me to ask for help from people compared to back then, but it still wasn't easy going to throws being like, here are my issues, I'm autistic, help me, can you help me please? Like, it's not something that's easy to say, going up to someone being like, I need your help with mental health stuff and things that are very internal related, brain related. And when I say internal, I don't mean like physical organs and stuff. I meant like the mental side of things, emotional side of things, the neurodivergent side of things, the uh, invisible, the invisible struggles, for lack of better words, because it's not something that's seen physically. Like, when someone looks at me, they won't be like, oh, he has communication challenges and takes things literally and needs things to be explained in a specific way and whatnot. Like, it's not something that's it's not physically seen on the outside. It's Yeah, it's more difficult to seek help for and ask for help for these things compared to be like, I have a broken arm, help me. Like, it's not this. It's harder. And I know that if I just sit on my ass at home and do nothing about this and just be like, I'm fine, there's nothing I can do about this, I'm my fate is sealed, and there's nothing I can do about this, because this is the way I have to live my life forever. While I did not choose to be autistic, I can choose whether I'm willing to do what I need to do to improve my situation, better myself, do what I need to do to live a more functional and healthy and balanced life. That's something I can choose. I don't choose to be autistic, but I can choose what to do about the challenges to improve my life. And it was the same for depression, it was the same for anxiety. I could, it was hard. It was hard. But it required me putting in the effort, me putting in the work to actually get to where I am today. And that's the reality of this. And I'm speaking from someone who experienced severe depression, major depression, severe social anxiety, suicidality every day, hopelessness, had really bad physical health issues, had really bad trans trauma, navigating the trans world, a trans identity, having really bad trauma, being really scared, and now having to navigate a very neurotypical world as a autistic guy. It's not fucking easy. It's not easy, unfortunately. That's the reality of life and the situation. It's not meant to be easy, and I wish it was easy. I don't wish anyone. I don't wish upon anyone like debilitating mental health, physical health concerns. But that's once. What I am trying to say is that if we choose to do nothing about our current situation, whatever it might be, it could be health related, relationship related, financial related, I don't know, anything. If we choose to do nothing about the situation and believe that there is absolutely nothing we can do and we don't take any sort of action to try and progress and improve the situation, nothing is going to change. That's the unfortunate reality of this. I wish I can snap my fingers and, you know, help everyone out of their predicaments, but that's not how life works, unfortunately. It's we accept. I don't. We don't even have to accept it. Just take steps to help change it and break out of the cycle. Otherwise, we're just going to be living in a loop like this. The same loop. Unless something changes, the same loop is just going to keep playing and playing and playing and playing and be relived, 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 relived until something interjects and stops the loop. And by the analogy I just thought of is by taking a step, it might not break the entire cycle completely at that point in time, but it sabotages it. It sabotages the loop that we don't want to live in, the situation we don't want to be in. It sabotages the loop. It sabotages it from running its course so efficiently. It sabotages it. And the more action we take, the more we sabotage that loop of, say, living in a cycle of depression or cycle of severe anxiety, the cycle of repeatedly being in very unhealthy relationships that we don't want to be in, the cycle of anything. The more we take action, the more we sabotage the loop, then the loop starts breaking. Because if we do things different to the regular loop that keeps being perpetuated, it just becomes a fight. It's like we're fighting. And then eventually, with enough time and grit and putting in the work, the loop breaks down completely, and the actions we've been taking start already has been building a new loop over here, one that is like a life we want to live and a situation that is a lot better. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfection necessarily, but it's a better loop than the one we started with. We started with this loop, but we take action to break it down and start building a new loop, even if it's smaller loops. It's better than the loop over here, the loop of that keeps repeating, the loop of our life, the loop of our daily lives that keeps repeating. We can build a different loop over here. And the loop can also be updated. It's not something that just has to be the same. You can change different elements of the loop, or we can build a completely different loop altogether. And by loop, I mean like our day-to-day, our life. Because back then I was living in a loop of severe depression, anxiety, and I hated myself. That was the loop that was perpetuating. I couldn't do anything, blah, 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 all the bad things that I don't remember anymore because it's not the same loop I'm living in, so it's really hard to say. But now I don't live in that loop anymore, and I live in this loop over here, where it's a lot better. I'm not saying I never experienced self-doubt or sad periods or sense of hopelessness, but it's a very different loop than the one over here. As per my personal experiences, I've started actioning things. So firstly, just going to a therapist, seeing a new therapist and being like, these are the challenges I'm having with autism. And I need your help. I want your help. And I don't expect you to do the work for me. And I told my therapist, I don't expect him to do the work for me. I need his direction, his guidance, his clinical knowledge, and all of that stuff that I don't have in guiding me through this. It's not doing the work for me, but accompanying me on this journey as I understand myself more and navigate challenges I haven't before. And already in the first session we set up goals, and it's be more assertive with communication, establishing boundaries to prevent self-neglect, and be social. And I already started actioning these goals by going to an LGBT swim night, going to an LGBT book club, which two things which I've never been to before. And I was scared and I felt nervous. And I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with it and be able to cope with it sensory-wise and social-wise. But I still went anyway. It ended up being a lot better than I thought. I had a conversation with someone and I couldn't hear them properly, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. And then I asked them to repeat themselves like 5 times, being like, I'm sorry, I'm not actually like hearing I can't hear you properly, and I'm not understanding or processing what you're saying. Can you like repeat that? And I said it like 5 times. I asked them like 5 times before I actually understood what they were saying. So that was linking in with being more assertive with communication and really getting what I need, because if I'm not understanding the person, then I can't interact with people if I don't understand what they're saying. So so I'm not saying I fully achieved these goals, because it's always something I can work on, but something I started actioning already and taking action. And in terms of steps, it can look different for everyone, and that's okay. Action for everyone is not necessarily the same. The actions I take might be completely different to the actions you take, and that's okay. The point is, I'm being proactive in my life to improve my situation, and that's the only way to get results. Because hypothetically, if I said I was going to be more social and overcome my fears and throw myself into uncomfortable situations, but I don't do them, in reality, there is no outcome. Therefore, this situation is still the same. Like, logic and reality is one thing and emotions are another. It's okay to experience emotions, express emotions, and whatnot. But unfortunately, just feeling emotions and not doing anything about it, say if I feel sad about a situation and I don't do anything to improve it, it doesn't change reality, unfortunately, because reality just slaps us in the face, like it doesn't care about our emotions. That's reality, unfortunately. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and yeah, I'm going to head to bed now because it's almost 1 o'clock. And I will see you in the next video.